Know, wonder, and learn.
I love reading stories. I remember our lesson on the elements of a story. I learned that the first of the story elements is the story setting. All stories have a setting. The setting includes the time and place in which the story will be taking place. There may be just one story setting, such as in a short story that only takes place in a single room of a house. Or there may be many different settings showing many locations and times, like when character travels around the world. So, settings is the time and place or when and where of the story. It's a literary element of literature used in novels, short stories, plays, films, and the likes, and usually introduced during the exposition of or beginning of the story, along with the characters. The next of the elements of a story are the characters. Of course, characters are one of the most important elements of a novel or short story. The characters are the people, or sometimes animals, who are featured in a story. I would always want to know the different characters in the story, like the protagonist, antagonist, static character, dynamic character, and the confidante character. The protagonist is the hero of the story and central character. We'll also usually call them the main character. They will get most of the attention of the author. Every narrative, whether it's a novel or short story, will have a protagonist. The antagonist is the opponent of the main character. This person makes trouble and is often the main cause of tension in the plotline. The hero's role is often to prevent the antagonist from doing harm to people. There can also be static and dynamic characters. Characters who don't change much throughout the story but set the context are often called static characters. Parents are often seen as static characters in books and movies. They are reliable, always there, but don't do much to compel the plot forward. By contrast, a dynamic character might start out as an unassuming peripheral person in the story. As the story progresses, they move toward the center of the storyline, become closer to the main character, and increase in importance. Lastly, the confidante is the sidekick for the main character. It often takes the role of a wise or philosophical character, although not always. In The Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa act as confidantes to Simba during his exile years. Other confidantes in the story include Rafiki and Nala.
Your communication hub and literary arts center of SDO Isabela. SDO English Academy.
An analogy describes the relationship between words. Subject, verb, your teacher.
On air. English Academy.
A blessed day, everyone! May we welcome this day with a beautiful smile on our faces. Greet everyone who is with you at home and say, have a great day ahead. Very good. I am happy to be with you again. You are listening to English Academy for grade 6. I am your radio teacher Eileen Mora, saying that listening with understanding will make you a better learner. I am so grateful to feel your positive vibes, my dear learners. You seem to have all the energy to learn today. Remember, a child full of energy can fight the COVID easily. So sit back, chill, and learn as you listen to our session today. Focus on our broadcast, and for sure, you will enjoy the activities I have prepared for you. But wait, please make sure that your learning materials are within your reach, okay? If not yet, then I will give you time to give your references like your modules or textbooks, your writing materials like your activity notes and pens, and of course, have your water and snacks with you that will make you more comfortable. Are you now ready to learn, children?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Can I have the loudest cheer? Wow, I love your energy, grade 6. Please sustain that until the end of our session, alright?
Yes!
Before we start with another learning journey, let's recall our past lesson. Do you still remember it?
Yes!
That's great. What was it again? Very good. It's all about narrative and its types. Can you still recall the meaning of a narrative? Okay, a narrative is a form of writing that tells a story. It can be spoken or written account of connected events. And what are the two types of narratives again? Very good. The two types of narratives are fictional and non-fictional. Let's test your memory if you can still differentiate the two with this fun review. Kids, move your shoulders if the description refers to a fictional narrative, and dance with your hands if it's non-fictional. Again, move your shoulders if the description refers to fictional narrative, and dance with your hands if it is non-fictional. Are you ready?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Very good. Here's for number 1. This refers to narrative that consists of people, events, or imaginary places that are not based on history or facts. What's your answer? All right, I knew you danced with your shoulders. That was cool.
Yeah!
How about for this statement? These stories represent truth and accuracy regarding information, events, or people. What's your answer? Perfect! I saw you dancing with your hands. Therefore, the answer is non-fictional. That's pretty amazing. Congratulations, my dear learners. You were able to recall our previous lesson with energy. You're really smart kids. Give yourselves a round of applause. I believe you're now ready for a new lesson for today. It is about evaluating narrative based on how the author developed the elements of story. And for today, we shall focus on these elements, which are the setting and the characters. Let's begin. First, let us define the first element of a story, which is the setting. It spells as S-E-T-T-I-N-G, setting. The setting of a piece of literature is the time and place in which the story takes place. In short, setting is the time and place where a scene occurs. Setting is a fundamental aspect of fiction, along with plot, character, theme, and style. It provides the backdrop to the story and helps create mood. For you to easily remember what setting is, just think of the letters T and P. And what do you think these letters stand for? You're correct. T and P stand for time and place. And this will serve as your keywords for setting. By the way, have you heard the story without its setting? Do you think the setting affects the development of the story?
Yes!
Yes, it does. In what way will it affect the story? Indeed, it can help set the mood, influence the way characters behave, affect the dialogue, foreshadow events, invoke an emotional response, reflect the society in which the characters live, and sometimes even plays a part in the story. It can also be a critical element in non-fiction as the setting provides the framework for what is being discussed. Some settings are very specific, which means the time and place are exactly indicated in the narration. Example is, in Barangay Mabini-Gamu, Isabela in the year 2021. Where's the place? That's Mabini-Gamu. When's the time? That's 2021. While others are descriptive. For instance, a barangay with vast ride fields where you can see kuliglig everywhere. That's a clear description of how Barangay Mabini-Gamu is.
Amazing!
Most pieces of literature include more than one setting, either as the narrative progresses through time or to include points of view from more than one character. Just like on what we usually see in your favorite teleseries or K-dramas, right?
Yes!
Do you want to know more about setting?
Yes!
If yes, listen and let's dig deeper. To make the setting come alive, it's important to include significant details. That doesn't mean describing everything that characters see or giving a complete history of where the scene occurs. It is important to give enough information to help readers visualize the setting, but too many minor details will bog down the story rather than move it forward. For example, if you say, it's evening, what can you imagine? Of course, it's dark, there are different stars, and it's quite cold. That's how you imagine the setting. So kids, were you able to take note of the important information about setting?
Yeah!
I know you do, and that's great. So let's learn more. Another element of a narrative is characters. Will you say it again? Perfect! That spells us C-H-A-R-A-C-T-E-R. Character. Characters in the story refer to the persons, animals, beings or creatures, or even things around which the story revolves. Writers use characters to perform the action and speak dialogue, moving a story along a plot line. Characters are also an important element in narratives. Remember, there can be no story without characters. Moving on, there are two types of characters in a story. And what do you think are those? You're correct! These are major and minor characters. The major characters are the protagonist and antagonist. Every story has a protagonist, or what we also call the heroes and heroines. They are the ones who create the action of the plot and engages readers, arousing their empathy and interest. Will you give some protagonists or heroes that you know from your favorite stories? Of course, we have the characters from Justice League like Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah!
Or from your favorite teleserye like Cardo of Ang Probinsyano or Melody of First Yaya, right?
Yes!
On the other hand, we also have the antagonist or villain. The antagonist or villain is the opposite of the protagonist. To add, an antagonist is a bad guy or an opponent of the protagonist or the main character. This character causes the conflict or problem for the protagonist. Who can be an antagonist or villain of a story? Very good. The antagonist can be a person, an inanimate object, an animal, the nature, or the character of the protagonist himself. Are you still there?
Aye, aye, Captain!
That's good. I know you are listening attentively on your places. Now kids, let's do some recap of the lessons I shared with you. Can you state the meaning of setting and characters as elements of short story? I know you surely can. Very good. You really listened very well. Setting refers to the time and place the story occurs. On the other hand, character refers to people, animals, or objects that play in the story. What are your keywords for setting? That's right, we have time and place. That's T and P. How about the two main characters of the story? Can you differentiate the two? I'm sure you easily can. You got it right, kids. The protagonist is the hero or heroine of the story, while the antagonist is the villain or the opponent of the protagonist. Can you also explain how the setting affects the story? That's right. The setting affects the story, for it can set the mood, influence the way characters behave, affect the dialogue, foreshadow events, invoke an emotional response, reflect the society in which the characters live, and sometimes even plays a part in the story. Can you also explain how important characters in the story are? Surely you can. You are really doing great. Characters are very important because they perform the action and speak dialogue, moving the story along a plot line. Characters make the story alive and interesting.
Amazing!
I think you are now ready for some activities. Shall we begin?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Great! I will read to you a short narrative, then find the setting and characters in the story. Are you ready?
Yes!
Very good. I know you're always ready, grade 6. You may write the important details that you will be needing later on. Listen very well, okay? Here's now the story. At the sunset in the evening sky, Ryan slowly turned and walked his way home. All was silent and still. Through the window, he could see her old sister Bella watching a Korean movie on the television. Bella came home from the city where she is currently studying. Though it was lonely at times for Ryan being alone in their home, seeing Bella once a month makes him happy. I will repeat the story, my dear learners. At the sunset in the evening sky, Ryan slowly turned and walked his way home. All was silent and still. Through the window, he could see her older sister Bella watching a Korean movie on the television. Bella came home from the city where she is currently studying. Though it was lonely at times for Ryan being alone in their home, seeing Bella once a month makes him happy. Let us now identify the setting and the characters. Let's have the setting first. When did the story happen? Will you give me the time of the day it happened? That's right, it happened in the evening, specifically during the sunset. Where did the story happen? I am looking for the place this time. Very good, it happened in Ryan and Bella's home. Did you get it right?
Yes!
Lastly, who are the characters in the story? Excellent! Ryan and Bella are the characters in the story. That's great, children. You listened well in our discussion. Give yourselves a round of applause. This time, I want you to bring out your activity notes and together, we will evaluate different texts that I am going to read. After listening to each text, you just need to answer the questions that I am going to ask. You can take down notes of the characters and the settings that you'll encounter, okay?
Aye, Captain!
I will give you enough time to write your answers. Will that be okay?
Yes!
Alright, let's start with number 1. Tatay Jose, a senior citizen, got a bundle of firewood in the woods. On his way home, a policeman called his attention and said,
Tatay, put the firewood down.
Tatay Jose was surprised but continued walking hurriedly. They need the firewood so badly. The policeman followed him and said,
Tatay, let me help you bring your firewood home.
and the policeman carried the firewood and placed it at the back of his mobile car. Who are the characters in the story? I will give you 7 seconds to write your answer. Alright then, let's proceed to text number 2. Teacher Annalyn is a grade school master teacher and she belongs to the pool of module writers. During the ECQ, she stayed and worked at home as instructed by the Department of Education. From this text, when did the story happen? Again, when did the story happen? Your 7 seconds starts now. That's it. Let's have text number 3. Sheena, a 5-year-old girl, is so lonely. She misses her mom. It's been 2 months since the lockdown started and her mom never got home since then. Her mother is a registered nurse and stayed in the hospital. One day, the phone rang and to her surprise, she heard the voice of her mom. They both cheered each other up and promised to stay safe. Who are the characters of this story? Your 7 seconds starts now. Let's proceed to the 4th and the last text for today. Bingo is a garbage collector and the city of Kawayan still serves during the ECQ. After his duty, he goes home, wash himself, and goes back to the city hall and volunteered to pack relief goods. Indeed, Bingo is one of our today's heroes. Who is the character in the story and where did the story happen? Your 7 seconds starts now. There you have it, mighty grade 6 learners. I know you are so excited to check your work. Without much ado, gear up and let's see if you got the correct answers. The first text asks us for the characters of the story, and they are Tatay Jose and the policeman. Did you get it right?
Yes!
The second text asks us about the setting, specifically the time, and the correct answer is during the ECQ. The third text is looking for the characters of the story, and the answer is Sheena and her mom. Did you get it right?
Yeah!
And finally, text number 4 asks us about the characters and the setting of the story. So the character is Bingo. And the setting is City Hall or City of Kawayan. Will you count your scores, my dear learners?
Yes!
How did you fare in this activity?
Amazing!
I hope you all got high scores. But if not, do not feel bad because we are always here to guide you. Congratulations, adventurers, for reaching this far. You had a wonderful job for today's journey. I hope you understood our lesson.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Thank you for tuning in to English Academy for Grade 6 here at Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. That's all for today, lovely children. For additional tasks, don't forget to answer the rest of the activities on your modules. Read the directions carefully and answer what are asked. If you have queries and concerns, please do not hesitate to send them to your subject teachers. Till next time, my dear grade 6 learners, and on behalf of teacher Maida H. Ramil, our scriptwriter, and the SDO Isabela RBI production team, this is your radio teacher, Eileen Joy Mora, greeting you all a blessed day. Goodbye!
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela.
Tayo na!
Pick up the words. Subject, verb, your teacher.
On air.
Hey, what are you reading? Do you even understand what it says?
Of course, as long as I have my dictionary. This book is called A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's a classic.
What's so fun with reading? You should see my new dance challenge. Does so many views already.
Nah, I'll watch it after I'm done with this book. After all, this can also be a challenge, you know.
Where's the fun in that?
Have you ever heard about Every Child a Reader program or ECARP? It aims to equip learners with reading skills to make them proficient and independent readers. It's DepEd's challenge to us, to read and learn. If I were you, take the reading challenge now.
Wow, sounds interesting. Lend me a book then.
This information is from the Department of Education and this station.
Isabela. SDO.
Be honest, even if others are not.
What are you singing? Is that Bruno Mars?
No, it's a jingle related to DepEd's Project Watch Advocacy.
Watch?
Yes, watch means we advocate time consciousness and honesty. It aims to strengthen time consciousness and honesty, not only among teachers but also students.
Wow! Honesty, such a lonely word.
That's why there's Project Watch, to instill the importance of honesty even if others are untrue.
Oh well, you've got a point there. That's a brilliant project. Let's sing Jolina Magdangal's song then. Sing!
Laging tapat at laging totoo.
This information is from the Department of Education and this station.
Hey CJ, why are you not wearing your face mask here in the market?
It's alright. I won't go out of town anyway, so I can still be COVID-free. Besides, my father said only those who are in the city have a greater chance of being infected with the virus.
What? Haven't you heard from the news that we must wear a mask whenever we need to go out? The Department of Interior and Local Government has issued a memo on mandatory wearing of face masks or other protective equipment in public places nationwide. Did you also know that surgical masks can give us with 95% protection from viruses while 80% from bacteria? Here, I have an extra.
Oh, I see. Thanks for this. I'm going home now to share to my parents the important news you've told me.
This is a friendly reminder from the Department of Education and this station.